Joining us now live via Skype from Washington is Tarek Radwan. He's the Associate Director for Research at the Rafik Hariri Middle East Center. Tarek, good to have you with us on the programme. So sources are saying that police are likely to form a blockade around the protesters in Nasser City. What do you think of that as a strategy? Is that the way to end the sit-ins?
Well, a blockade is certainly the least of the active measures that the Egyptian security services can take. Certainly the kind of tension that we're seeing right now is an entrenchment of both camps, both on both political divides, just cementing their position. Honestly, I think that the security services may be making a mistake by actively moving against these protests when probably the safest thing to do, as we've seen in other protests over the past 2 years, is to try and actually let this tension fizzle out.
But the interim government has tried a number of measures to bring about reconciliation. I mean, do you think there is yet still a chance of a peaceful political solution?
Well, the Muslim Brotherhood are masterful tacticians in political negotiation, and certainly they're using the protests as a means to that end. Now, the thing is that the protests they can't go on indefinitely, but neither can the security services or the military ignore the calls of the people to actually do something about it. So right now, it's a game of brinkmanship, and really it's all about who will blink first. The military will suffer seriously if there's a violent crackdown, which could spark sympathies for the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah, as you say, allowing the sit-ins to continue is in the Muslim Brotherhood's favour. Should that be their strategy, letting the sit-ins continue? Shouldn't it sit down and discuss the way forward with its opponents?
Well, the problem with reconciliation in general is that too many parties on both sides have too much to gain from failed negotiations. If the Muslim Brotherhood suffers a crackdown, it will increase international and perhaps even domestic sympathy for it, which would certainly strengthen its position against the interim government and the military. The police also have to gain from a crackdown because they would most likely see some resistance and thereby have to exert their full resources, would probably request even more resources, and the resulting crackdown would not only be on the Muslim Brotherhood, but it would also be on all civil and political discontent.
And just on that issue of international scrutiny of what's going on in Egypt, how difficult is the position of international powers given this debate over whether Morsi's removal constitutes a coup or not?
Well, we've seen Western diplomats from all over the world come to Egypt to try and resolve this in a nonviolent way. Again, because of how much each side has to gain politically, they have clearly failed thus far. Whether or not it's a coup, I think is self-explanatory. You may call this what you will, a people's-inspired coup, or a popular call for a coup, but it's still a coup. It's a military deposing a democratically elected leader, what has largely been recognized as such. Therefore, it's certainly confusing, for instance, that the U.S. Refuses to take a position on such a matter.
Tarek, pleasure to speak with you. Thank you very much indeed for that. Middle East analyst Tarek Radwan in Washington, D.C. there.